Hey, I'm Shara. You don't know what to build? You're bored of building oak houses? Well, then this video is definitely for you. See, I love fantasy, especially fantasy buildings, houses, trees, and purple lakes, just like this one. So, since we're here, let me show you this lake. It's magicy and it spills around like it comes from the earth. The coolest part is these trees that grow and draw the magic, the power, from the lake. I wouldn't recommend to build the lake too big because the bigger the lake, the more blocks you'll have to use, and purple blocks, well, they're expensive. Best part of this build that you can make it any color you want, so if your magic is red, yellow or blue, suit yourself and use the colors of your choice. Well, another thing you could do is try to build a whole forest of these beautiful magic trees. And I know it might be hard for you to build trees, but it's magic trees, so they can be any shape you want. To build these beautiful white trees, I would use a bit of emeralds, white wool and glass, and even some cobwebs. And as for the trunk, I usually use dripstone, but you could also use puzzle. It has a very cool texture. Moving on. Another cool idea I have for you is this serpent remains. I love the idea of this build because it's very easy. You just build the arches from the bone and the structure is super simple. To make the spine, just add a few quartz stairs and maybe quartz slabs, run them along the arches. You can make it as long as you want and it looks very impressive. You can only think how long this beast was. Another cool thing is these ribs. We don't even know how big this animal was, but I feel like it looks very impressive. Again, if you need some bone blocks, just go to the nether and I'm sure that you can find some there. Another cool idea is this beautiful magic garden. It's quite small, but I managed to fit in a lot of plants. I love mixing nether plants with a lot of on the ground plants. For example, these amethyst buds, which aren't even plants but kinda look like flowers, with these beautiful nether vines mixed in with a few spore blossoms. Also, don't forget a few tables for the pots and different sections. For example, this is the water section with the water plants, dripstone as some kind of flower buds. Or this more earthy section with a little bit of a corruption spreading from the earth. Remember, the bigger the selection of your plants, the cooler it will look. Don't forget to mix in different soil types. For example, this coarse dirt, moss, and this funny looking warp nylon, whatever it's called. And idea number 5, or maybe number 6, waterfall. No, that's a lie. That's just not a simple waterfall. This is secret magic laboratory, and we're just going down this very secret path to get into it. And a bit more, and here we are in our laboratory. Very much secret, overgrown, and absolutely beautiful. On the left, you can have your magic containment exposition, then a table with a lot of brewing stands, water, and those crystals from the lake. Here I propose to make some kind of containment for nether plants or anything interesting you can find in the wild. On the right we have many pots of more magic plants, some storage, and even more purple thing from the lake. In the corner there is a small furnace to accommodate your needs and one more brewing stand. I recommend you to make it as big as you want, but the smaller the cuter it's gonna look. And our next idea is beautiful magic ruins. For this build, you won't have to do much, just build a few ruined columns with magic things. I use a few glass paints, you can again use any color, but I love purple. Mixed in a few different blocks for texturing, but building these ruins is fairly simple, there is no rules for ruins, and anything you make which is kind of random will look impressive. In the middle we have this beautiful enchanting setup. Make sure that you have all these 30 bookshelves, or is it 30? I believe it's 16, but it is level 30. Surround them by a few blocks to make a cliff, terraform it a bit, and here you are with your beautiful enchantment setup. I also decided to run this little stream of water on the side for texturing, made a small bridge, it's kinda cute. Overall, it's a very easy project as it doesn't require much structure. Again, ruins can be ruined in any way. And the last project of this map is this beautiful magic tree. I want to believe that the seed of this tree was placed in the basement of the house in order to contain it, but the moisture and dampness of the place have made it sprout, and in no time the tree has struck the house and made it go into the sky. This is again a fun project if you love trees and you want something interesting to have in your world. I would recommend making the house first and build a tree around it. as it makes it easier to build the branches in different directions. For the inside, technically I even made a very tiny interior, just to add a few furnaces, crafting table. You can even get here by going down, so technically that door, it's kinda useless. Idea number 8, Stomp Portal. I believe that the whole tree was struck by lightning and explosion created a portal to another dimension. The portal is put deep into the stump, so everything is covered up with wood. I recommend you use spruce wood with a bit of oak and a few spruce stairs, trapdoors, fences, lanterns, and maybe a few of these bushes here and there. The most important part of this build is to make it wide enough to fit the portal, so I recommend to go at least by 8 by 8, but definitely not less. You could make this as big as you want or use other wood types. And number 9, first of all, this beautiful road made of few path blocks and spruce, which go into this not hanging, but floating bridge. You would have to jump a bit to get across, but I feel like it's easy enough and the chance of you falling is fairly fairly small, but yeah, that can happen. The bridge is being powered by this magical crystal from our other builds, and technically you can build it as long as you want or use any other crystals that you have at your disposal. Of course, if you're not careful, you can fall between the islands, but with a bit of attention, getting across is not an issue. Idea number 9 or number 10, I'm not sure. If we go along this path, we can see the Dwarven Vault and the ruins, Dwarven ruins. Again, to build the ruins, you won't need much, just put blocks randomly and kinda looks cool. You can see there is a small hatch of water here and rails with a few minecarts. It was also really fun to use some sculpt for decoration, as it shows how corrupted this place gets and old. To make the place cozier, you can also use a few wooden elements like this campfire and seats for people who are camping and decide maybe they're excavating it or maybe they want to get to the dwarven treasure. If we come up this road, you can see there is a small door on the bottom, so you can actually enter the vault. And it's a beautiful storage room, so Dwarven Vault is a funny way to make your own storage. On this side I put a lot of furnaces, so you can smelt all your ores, and on the right and on the left you can see these doors. If we come here, you can see the door where you could build your water elevator or just dig down to have a mining site. On the other side you see the same door and lots of chests and barrels. On the top, I've decided to use a few red lamps and lots of bushes to make this place overgrown. So the next idea for your world is this beautiful apple village. As you can see, I've made this apple village made of lots of red blocks. I used red terracotta, wool.
Shera?
Oh,
Shera?
you? What you doing here?
I made the village.
You
I made the village.
You did?
Yes,
Oh.
I made a village. Oh, yeah, let me show you.
Okay.
So, over here we have our starter house with a nether portal, which is also an apple. It looks amazing, I know. And
Humble.
over here we have an apple, an apple with villagers, but it's not a
Okay.
prison. It's just a
Are
house.
you sure?
Okay.
They don't look like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And over here we have our farmers market. It's also very professional, and as you can see, Cosmo and Cider are having a lovely time. They love it here. They love it.
Totally not the prisoners. Okay, got it.
Yeah, no, never. And over here we just have our field of crops with our automatic melon and pumpkin farm. Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, amazing. Amazing, dear.
You
Thank
love
you
it, right?
so much. Yeah, I think
Yeah, now
the
get
viewers
out of here.
love it.
Get out.
Okay.
Get out.
Okay, I
Get out.
promise.
I
Yeah,
made a village, not you. Get out.
Okay, you did it.
God damn
Bye.
it.
And if you want to see more, definitely go check out the village on Dio's channel, and let's move on. Our next idea, as you know, you already can find the remains of an ancient city in normal Minecraft, so I thought, why don't we bring it up on the surface? As you can tell, that's a lot of remains. I've decided to use a lot of deep slate, skulk, and a little bit of dark oak to see that someone came here and tried to excavate this place more, but they haven't quite rebuilt it just yet. What we see here is a well of some sorts, as Skulk has a very powerful magic and the dwarfs knew that and tried to mine it out of the ground. I really recommend you use the Skulk sensors because they really make places come back to life. The next idea I want to show you is this floating island. As you can see, I even tried to make a floating island staircase, but you could also use a bucket of water. To make this build better, try to decorate and texture your island as much as possible. I used a lot of bushes, some dirt, cobblestone, and even some stone. On the top of the thing, you can build a house, a tree, or maybe something different. To make the place even more magicy, I recommend you try to build it on the water, and it will also save your life if you fall building it. On the left, I've decided to build a tree, and it's getting rainy because I haven't turned off the weather yet. To build this tree, you can use my tutorials or you can build it yourself. Overall, minus the weather, this is a very magic build. You can build it very high in the sky, but remember, it will be much more annoying to get up and down and get all your materials. Our next build is this beautiful mushroom village that I've built with my good friend Koala built. Her channel is in the description, make sure to check her out. So if you're up for a challenge and you want to build organics, Mushroom Village is a very good start. You can use art for your reference or even this video to build your own mushroom village. For this build, we've decided to go with red mushroom blocks and spruce and mud bricks at the base. For the smaller mushroom, we went with the stem blocks at the base and brown blocks with a lot of mud bricks at the cap. I would definitely recommend to decorate your village, for example these crops or these cute small mushrooms. Again, the path in the middle would also be a nice addition to your village to put it all together, and of course lots of trees. The perfect place to build it would be a dark forest, but any other place you have will do as well. Overall, this is a very fun build, and you can only imagine what kind of magical creatures live there. Another cool idea is tree mining entrance. As you can see, the entrance itself is between the roots of the tree. The trunk is the main visible part, which is the hardest to build, and the foliage is quite easy. So if we go down between the roots, there is a small room, and here the elevator. I also want to show you the mining room, so let's get down. And if we come here, you can see this beautiful magic mushroom mining room. There are many doors here, and you can make this room as big as you want, but the main point is to put mushrooms and lots of spruce details, just like this one and this one. As you can see, there is a lot of vegetation on the ceiling, and on the floor I mixed a lot of deep slate and moss and even this flowering azalea. If we come here, that's the door. This mining shaft goes very far, as I mined quite a lot in my survival series. I definitely recommend you try to make this build, as it's easy and it looks absolutely stunning. If you're a fan of allies, these little cute creatures I trapped here, you might want to check out this idea. This is fantasy building made by my good friend Microcosm Gaming, and he put so much work in it. Look at all the layers, look at the shape and the color palette. This building is magic come to life. It's very much inspired by the ally, and it's called Ally House. This is a very versatile building. You can make it to be a potion shop, a tavern, or maybe a guild. So make sure to check out the full tutorial on his channel, and let's move on. And this one was quite requested by all of you. This is a shop card. I made it a flower shop card, but you can make it any. As for details, on the right I made a small camp for people who work at the shop. Here the horses, they are tied up to the shop cart thing. I'm not sure what it's called. At the front, here are the stalls where you can sell the goods. I put the flowers. To make these wheels, just stack up 4 stairs in different directions. I use dark oak stairs. And to get into the cart, you have to use this trapdoor, like this, and then you enter. Inside, there is not much space. On the left, there is a lot of barrels, chests, campfires with food, and some potions in the frames. On the right, I've tried to make some kind of curtain to separate the stall from the main part of the cart. And here are some flowers. Again, you can put anything here, but I chose flowers. Here there are more decorations. I put some banners on top. And this place is quite open because that's where the seat would be for a person to manage the horses. 2 probably is not enough, but that's all I had nearby. Overall, this is a fun build. It would be a nice addition for any world. You can just imagine how this card is traveling around and selling potions or flowers or food to the citizens of your kingdom. And another cute idea you all have requested is this little cute fairy table. I've made this little nook in the forest by planting more trees and decorated it with a few mushrooms, lots of flowers, tall grass, and some carpets. In the middle, I've built this cute little table, and most important thing is these flying candles. I would choose my candles to be green because I love green, but I feel like purple or red candles will do even better. I've built these little chairs from slab and signs, and in the middle on the table there are lots of plates made of frames and cups with mushrooms growing out of it. Probably shouldn't put the mushroom in. That would make more sense, and I didn't get the cap. Well, moving on. Another design one of you suggested I make is a forge. I'm sure you meant forge the building, but I've been thinking why not make forge the hammer. This thing looks quite cool and it's inspired by Last Epoch Forge. If you've played it, you will probably recognize it. It's a fairly simple design. On the side you can see it just made 3x3 blocks with lots of stairs on the side, and in the middle we have this water to cool down you from when you're forging. In the middle there is anvil and a smithing table, so you can do anything you want here. Technically you would need the grinding stone too, but I haven't put it in here yet. One of the latest things I want to show you today are the corruption options. As you can see, here's my purple corruption. I have experimented with it quite a lot. Here's the one with deep slate, one with dripstone, coming out of the earth, inside the earth, but I have a few other. For example, this green one, you just use lots of cyan blocks with these warp blocks. I'm not sure what are the names, but you know you can find them in the nether, and it looks quite cute, give it some kind of mushroomy look. But let me show you the yellow one. I think that's my second favorite. I use lots of honey blocks, some mostly yellow terracotta, yellow glass. Oh, the honey makes such a funny sound. Can you hear it? Oof. And some wool. Also, don't forget to use lots of glass to make this kind of flamey crystals, and a few candles. The last one of the coolest in my opinion, is the red corruption. You can easily mix in lots of deep slate with like this redstone deep slate, which makes it so corrupted. In the middle you can use black glass with red glass and some of these red blocks from the nether. If you enjoyed today's video, let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and remember, I do have tutorials on some of the things, so make sure to look in the description, and see you next time. Bye!